Hey all. I found this backing track for Need Your Love So Bad, the Peter Green Fleetwood Mac, the good Fleetwood Mac. And I thought this might be interesting to go through and just talk a little bit about minor pentatonic versus major pentatonic and soloing. Now granted, Peter Green did not stick religiously to those scales, but for the purposes of this conversation, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to play through a little bit of it in A minor pentatonic. You know, licks that you'll recognize and stuff. But let's see if it works with A minor pentatonic. If you were, you know, jamming with people, and God knows if you were lucky to jam with people who would play this, you're in good shape. But just as an illustration, we'll do a little bit of A minor pentatonic, and then we'll stop for a second and see whether that sounds right. Nothing wrong with that, but it ain't right. that was A minor pentatonic. So let's try the same thing. Just gonna re-rack it, and this time we're gonna do A major pentatonic. Let's see what that sounds like. that's A major pentatonic. And you can hear that that works so much better with that chord progression. And there may be spots in there where you could mix the two together. And I think some of the great guitar players, Clapton does that a lot. Angus Young does that a lot. Different kind of music, but he does it a lot. Rory Gallagher, you know, a lot of them. But Jimmy Page. But when you're just going to sit down and you're going to jam with a blues thing, it doesn't have to be the same old. Doesn't have to be the same thing that you always do. So you can hear, you know, even watching it, a lot of the licks that I'm just doing as a run through are pretty much the same in major and minor pentatonic. It's just a question of where your root is, where you start, you know. So anything that I do here, that's minor. If I just move it down here, move it down 3 frets, and all of a sudden that's the same thing. Same licks, same exact licks, except move it down. You know, the basic rule is move down 3. Start there, not on an F sharp note necessarily, but start in that fret if you're an A, and work on some of those same licks, and you can decide for yourself which kind of chord progressions, bluesy chord progressions, make sense for major and minor. And a lot of that is just sitting down and trying it and experimenting and see which sounds right or better to your ear. Because like I said, there's nothing wrong with doing Need Your Love So Bad with minor pentatonic box, with the minor pentatonic box. Nothing wrong with it necessarily, but it just sounds more right if you do it in major. So something to think about. So if you want to look it up, I just found this on YouTube. It's the channel is called Guitar Bass, one word, Guitar Bass, B-A-S-S, Guitar Bass, and it's Fleetwood Mac, Need Your Love So Bad, guitar backing track with tab. If you read tab, more power to you. But that's one to just sit down and explore some of the fretboard and explore your major pentatonic scale. And then the next time you're in some kind of jam situation, or you're rehearsing with your group for a bar gig or whatever, or even in an actual gig, if you want to mix in some major pentatonic with your minor, because I think a lot of people, I did anyway, when I first started doing single note playing, which is not my favorite kind of guitar playing. I like the chord stuff, honestly. But I for the first year or two, just did minor pentatonic, and that was just getting to know the fretboard. I spent a year just working just on that. And then, you know, I had one of those epiphany moments, probably doing an AC/DC song, where I was like, wait a second, that ain't minor pentatonic, that's something different, and it sounds right, you know. So hopefully that's a little bit instructional, but I think if you sit down with that backing track and just tune to A with that, and you can do a little bit of experimenting on A major pentatonic, you might have some luck. Good luck.